Tuloy-tuloy ang paghahatid natin ng mga impormasyong napapanahon at on-demand pagdating sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Ako si Tristan Nodalo at sa puntong ito makakasama natin si House Prosecutor at Akbayan Representative Chel Jokno. Attorney Chel, sir,
Hello,
thank you so
Tristan.
much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, sir, let me start with, of course, yung naging desisyon nga po ng impeachment court to issue subpoena sa bank and tax records ni Vice President Sara Duterte. But from that decision to July 30, I understand, ano pong magiging priority ng prosecution team while waiting for the documents to be turned over?
Well, in the meantime, tuloy-tuloy yung ating pagpepresenta ng ebidensya. We will be finishing with the grave threats article today. Bukas naman sisimulan yung confidential funds. So, hindi pa naman tayo umaabot doon sa unexplained wealth. By that time, we would have already seen the documents subject of the subpoena.
Okay. Would you describe this, sir, as a total victory, partial victory, or how would you characterize yung naging desisyon ng impeachment court when it comes to this financial documents?
It's a big step forward. But tulad na nabanggit ko kahapon, this is a developing story. Sa mga dapat pa ng mga araw, mailalabas yung mga dokumento. And then it will reach the stage na representa na. Doon natin malalaman kung tatanggapin ng impeachment court yung ebidensya niya.
Okay, we'll touch upon the admissibility, sir, a little later on. But I want to ask, despite having the access to these documents, iba pa rin po yung issue ng burden of proof, di ba, sir? The burden of proof remains. What's the hardest element to establish pagdating dito sa mga ganitong klaseng dokumento, sir?
Well, the burden of proof is always on the prosecution to establish the elements of the articles of impeachment. Pagdating sa unexplained wealth, actually, tatlo yung laman ng article na yan eh. Yung una is that the Vice President amassed unexplained wealth manifestly out of proportion to her lawful income. Yung pangalawa ay meron na siyang mga hindi dineclare sa kanyang salary. At yung pangatlo, yung kanyang tuloy-tuloy na pakikilahok sa mga business interest kahit na ipinagbawal yan ng ating institution. Each of these charges actually pose their own challenges for the prosecution. Kaya talagang kailangan malalim ang paghahanda.
Okay, speaking of challenges, anong challenges ito, sir, ang ina-anticipate na ng prosecution?
Well, of course, just like any court case, nandyan yung paghahanda ng mga testigo at yung pagpe-prepare ng kailangan natin itanong sa kanila. Dahil doon, that's where the admissibility of these documents will depend.
Okay. And Congressman, also to help the public understand the situation better. Pag sinabi pong subpoena, when you issue subpoenas, hindi naman po ibig sabihin nun ay nangangahulugang wrongdoing. Nagkaroon na kaagad ng kasalanan, sir, di ba? Is that right?
Yes, ang subpoena ay utos lang yan galing sa hukuman sa isang tao o kaya ahensya na dalhin ang mga dokumento na nakasaad sa loob ng subpoena. So that's it. It's known as a compulsory process and it's intended to help the court arrive at the truth.
Mhm. Next question is the admissibility, sir, 'di ba? Yung kumbaga, makukuha yung dokumento pero ang susunod na tanong naman is tatanggapin ba 'to bilang ebidensya? Ano, sir, ang kailangang patunayan ng prosecution when it comes to these documents for it to be accepted as or to be admitted as evidence?
Unang-una, kailangan duly authenticated siya. At lahat ng mga maaring objections doon sa dokumento ay may lalaban ng prosecution na dapat tatanggapin ng court. Depende kasi yan, the rules on admissibility depend on what kind of evidence is involved. So kung documentary evidence ba yan, retrato, o kaya mga iba't ibang electronic evidence, iba-ibang requirements.
Okay, but do you anticipate any challenge coming from the defense side when it comes to the issue of admissibility?
Oh, I'm sure the defense will raise objections and they will probably oppose the evidence that we'll be presenting. Pero kasama naman talaga sa trabaho yan.
Okay, hindi naman major delays yan, sir, yang ganyang mga opposition when it comes to the admissibility of these
I
documents.
don't foresee any delays of that sort. in the coming days.
Okay. Kong Chel, the court allowed to subpoena the documents even as far back as 2007 to establish yung financial background ni Vice President Duterte. How big of gain or kumbaga advantage ito sa prosecution na pinayagan yung ganung kalayong year para po mapakita yung financial documents ni Vice President?
Sang-ayon po yan sa ating desisyon ng ating Supreme Court na sabi nila pagka-issue ng unexplained wealth ang pinag-uusapan, kailangan makita yung baseline. At yung ibig sabihin ng baseline ay mula sa unang araw na naglingkod yung person involved sa ating gobyerno, ay doon natin makikita halimbawa yung kanyang salin. Doon din natin na dapat simulan yung pag-assess sa kanyang income or lawful or legitimate income.
The documents of Mans Carpio, the spouse of Vice President Duterte, gaano rin po kalaking factor ito in establishing the grounds for this article of impeachment?
Well, unang-una, mapapansin na natin na mismo sa salay ni Vice President Sara Duterte ay sinama niya ang mga assets, liabilities, and net worth ng kanyang asawa si Atty. Mans Carpio. At yan ay sang-ayon sa ating batas dahil mismo sa Republic Act 6713 at dapat sa mga iba't ibang mga laws natin ay dapat kasama sa pag-declare ang assets, liabilities, and net worth ng asawa. Pero ang exception na lang dyan hindi communal ang marital regime nila. Kaya mapapansin ninyo kahapon tinanong ni Senator Escudero ang defense kung ano ba yung marital property regime ng mag-asawa o Vice President ni Atty. Carpio. Na nung lumabas nga na na communal siya, yun ang naging dahilan din ng impeachment court na isinama ang requested namin documents for Atty. Carpio.
Kumbaga sa sitwasyong ito sir, hindi maaaring ihiwalay yung kumbaga even the husband is kasama dito sa impeachment proceedings kahit sabihin na lang he's a private person.
Yes. Opo.
Okay. Now sir, given the medyo July 30, we're talking about days na lang po, no? If ma-turn over tong mga documents ito, do you need more time to look into these documents on whether ito ba'y mapapakinabangan nyo in these proceedings?
Basta't mailabas ang mga dokumento, syempre pag-aaralan namin. And hindi pa naman aming oras na mag-present ng witnesses. So I think we will have enough time.
We will have enough time. Kasi ngayon pa lang, sir, ang after the threats would be the confidential funds
Yes.
and then nakaline up itong unexplained wealth. Now, dun sa issue ng tax records, dahil naglabas na nga po ang impeachment court, how should the BIR approach this subpoena? Kasi before, ang naging issue, kailangan ba ipaalam sa Pangulo? Na kanino na, sir, yung responsibility na yan?
Well, kung titingnan natin yung nangyari ng corona impeachment trial, ganon din ang naging proseso. Naglabas ang court ng subpoena, tapos humingi ng pahintulot ang ating BIR para sa Pangulo para madala sa impeachment court.
Yung other legal recourse in this particular issue, how ready is the prosecution kung lumabas man outside the impeachment court yung pag-challenge ng defense on this decision?
Handang-handa po naman ang House of Representatives dyan.
Okay. Congressman Chel Jokno, sir, thank you for your time and for granting this interview.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.